All right, today we are going to talk about space, and not necessarily like outer space, but more like space where something is in relation to each other, like three-dimensional space. And so there's a few ways that you can show whether something is close or far away or in front of or behind something. So we're going to go over that first, and then we will get to our drawing. So one of the first ways you can show space is by what blocks something else. For example, if I draw a square, okay, and then I draw a circle, but it's blocked by it, then it looks like that circle is behind the square, right? But if I reverse that, if I draw the full circle, and then it blocks part of the square, then it looks like the square is behind the circle. So whichever thing blocks the other thing, that one looks like it's either in front of or behind. So the thing that you can see fully is in front, the same thing that you cannot looks like it's behind. Okay, so that's one way to show space. Another way is with size. So the bigger something is, the closer it's going to look, and the smaller something is, the farther away it's going to look. So let's create some three-dimensional space with size. So again, we'll just use simple shapes. I'm going to do a circle, and you don't have to follow me on any of these. I'm just showing you an example. So here's a big circle, not quite as big, getting a little bit smaller. And again, these are not perfect circles. We don't have to be perfect in art. It's not what it's about. Maybe I should say circle-like things. Okay. So as I make them smaller, feels like it's disappearing off into the distance, doesn't it? Okay. So that's another way we can create space, is by starting big and going small. Okay. And then last but not least, one of my favorite is vanishing lines. So if you, like, say we're drawing a road that we want to disappear over the horizon. Okay. So, okay, tell you what, let's draw a horizon. Here's the hills in the background. So if we take a line, and again, this is really just another version of getting smaller, but let's say I draw a line and then I start over here and I draw another line that makes it get smaller, almost meets, okay, like here's the dotted lines down the road. So doesn't that, as I'm starting to draw, it doesn't look like the road is just going off into the distance towards the sunset. You know, here's our sunset right here. Yay. Okay, so we've got a road that's gone off into the distance. And we did that by really just making lines get smaller, get closer together. All right, so those are the three different concepts we're going to use today. We're going to use the vanishing lines getting smaller. We're going to use bigger objects to smaller objects. And we're going to block one thing with another. This is not the picture we're doing. I'm just showing you the three different things. Let's see. Will it let me erase all of these? Doop, doop. Ooh, perfect. All right, so since we're talking about space, we're actually going to go to outer space because, you know, why not? And we're going to draw a spaceship. Okay, so let's start by drawing the little bubble on our spaceship where our alien's going to be. So we're going to do a half U shape, upside down U. Not too big, not too small. It's big enough to fit an alien in, but small enough that we can put some other things on the screen. I didn't match that up very well. All right, and now to make it seem 3D and round, instead of doing a straight line, I'm going to do a curved line at the bottom. Okay, and now we've got ourselves a bubble. We're not going to put our alien in here. We're going to leave him till last. Now we're going to draw a flying saucer. We're going to do an oval shape about this big right here at the bottom, and it's going to not meet here at the line. It's going to go up just a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and put some dots right there and right here, just some guide points so you kind of know where we're aiming. Okay, so we're going to start here at the dot, and we're going to make an oval shape going down just slightly. This is going to be the top of our flying saucer. Okay, and then starting at the ends, we're going to kind of follow that shape on the bottom. And it's okay if yours is wiggly. Mine gets real wiggly when I draw here on the computer instead of paper, and that's okay. So I'm just going to kind of mirror that line. We got a wiggly spaceship, why not? Okay, so look, we've already used some of our techniques here. This bubble, do you see how this line is blocked? You don't see it continue, so that makes the bubble feel like it's in front of the back of the spaceship. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to use size, and we're going to do these lights that follow this curve, and as they go around the spaceship they're going to get smaller. So we're going to make them a little bit bigger here in the front. And I know I'm going a little bit fast, but since this is a video, you can pause it if you need to, or rewind it if you need to. As I go around, they just get a little bit smaller, and a little bit smaller, and a little bit smaller. So it looks like this spaceship kind of disappears around the back. And what's our rule in art? You don't mess up, it just becomes something new. So now my lights have become these little wiggly things. This is a challenge for me too, drawing on the computer, but if you will have grace with me, I'll have grace with you. Alright, so there we go. We've got little circle-like lights that go around, starting bigger and get smaller. Okay? So we're already using 2 over techniques. Now we're going to use a third. We're going to use that vanishing line. So I'm going to put a little rocket booster off the back, 2 diagonal lines, and a vertical line. Got a little rocket booster right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to make a little rocket stream that goes out and comes back around here, and then back here is going to be our planet. And obviously the planet is bigger than our alien and spaceship, but by the time it gets back here the planet will be smaller because it's back off in the distance. This was one of my favorite things to do as a kid, is draw this little rocket stream out of the back of these spaceships, and I'll show you why here in a second. You know, in fact, this is going to use all 3. This is going to use the vanishing lines kind of getting smaller. It's going to use the in front of and behind blocking thing, and it's going to use size. So we're going to draw 2 parallel lines coming out of the back of the spaceship, maybe a couple inches, and then we're going to stop. And then we're going to do these little beams around the spaceship, these little circle rings around the beam, I should say, not around the spaceship, around the beam. And we're going to do that by making 2 C shapes that don't start right here at the line. They're going to start inside just a little bit, and then we're going to mirror them just slightly bigger. So watch. Let me do one. Make a little C shape where it kind of touches the line and then goes back a little bit. And then we're going to come, and we're going to do one that's a little bit bigger. And now, doesn't it look like a 3-dimensional ring that's going around? This is in front of and that's behind because it's blocked. Okay, and so now we're just going to repeat this pattern. The next line I'm going to curve it up just a little bit. I start to curve it because this line's going to go out. Okay, and it's already getting a little bit smaller, not much. And then again, not on the end, start in just a little bit. C shape. And a slightly bigger C shape. We've got ourselves another ring. Okay, now we're going to keep that going. Now, when I did it on paper, I kind of ran off the paper and came back on the paper. Here I'll probably have room to stretch it all the way around. So whichever way it ends up working out on your paper. So I'm going to curve it a little bit more. And again, we're just making it a little bit smaller. Another C shape, followed by another C shape. Notice my rings are getting a little smaller also, and I just connected that so it looks like there's a little gap there. Make it look a little more 3D. Alright, now I'm going to start curving back the other way. This is where I'm really going to start getting smaller to really exaggerate that distance. Follow the same pattern. Little C shape, little C shape. You see how the pattern's going here? Alright, and then a little bit smaller. Really getting small back here. Little C shape. Little C shape. Apparently my voice gets higher as I draw smaller. And then this is probably as small as I can get it on this on the computer here. Little C shape. Little C shape. So however many of these you want to do, and then I'm just going to go ahead and make a super small line. About as small as it can get. And then this is where my planet's going to be. So he can be coming out of anything. I'm just going to put it on a planet here, but when we were in class, sometimes one kid had him coming out of a giant space fish, or out of a black hole, or out of a galaxy, or maybe he's flying from the sun, or maybe from the moon. Whatever it is, this is your art. You can make it whatever you want to make it. All right, so I'm going to draw just a little nondescript planet. I'm going to put some little motion lines here like he just took off. And then maybe this planet's kind of got some funky shapes like the moon kind of. Alright, so here's my little funky shaped planet back here. Alright, and you notice that maybe these are about the same size, but you know that his planet's got to be bigger than his spaceship, so that's what makes it feel like it's further off in the distance right here. Okay, so we use those three things. The lines get smaller, the circles get smaller, and it goes in front of and behind. Okay, so really this is the main part of our picture. From here on out, you can make it whatever you want to. So tell you what, I'm going to put a little, where do you want, really it's where do you want this guy to be? Some people did him in the sky with clouds, and some people made him underwater with fishes. And I'm going to make mine in outer space since that's kind of what we talked about. So I'm just going to make like a little spiral galaxy over here maybe, and maybe there's a shooting star kind of going in the background here, and maybe there's another planet with a ring, with a ring around it, using those rings again in front of, behind. Okay, maybe we'll put some stars different places. Really, this is where you can get creative and you can put your spaceship wherever you want it to be. Whatever space you want to create, you can do by doing the background. That's the thing that's behind. Okay, this is our subject in the foreground, and our background puts it in a space, in a three-dimensional space. And then in here, you can have your alien. He can be any kind of alien you want. But again, the spaceship's going to block the bottom half of him. I think I'm going to make mine a robot. But remember, it's only going to be the top half of it. So I'm going to make him like a square head. You can do anything you want. You can do an octopus robot, a fish robot, I mean not robot, alien. He's going to have little alien buds and see, little square robot body. I am a robot. A little panel here, and here's his little robot arm. Okay, so again, you can make anything you want, but if you notice here, you can't see the bottom half of my robot. He is blocked by the spaceship because he's inside. So again, space is what makes it feel 3D. This bubble is blocking the back of the spaceship. The spaceship is blocking him. These are getting from bigger to smaller. This is going bigger to smaller, and it's disappearing. We've got background, we've got foreground. All of these things take what would have just been a spaceship on a piece of paper and put it in a three-dimensional space. So I hope that you enjoyed watching this. Now you can go and color it and make it your own.